Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer Unmasked. In the annals of American crime, few figures are as chilling as Gary Ridgway. Born February 18, 1949, in Salt Lake City, Utah, Ridgway's life seemed unremarkable at first, but beneath the surface, a lethal predator was emerging. As a young boy, Gary showed signs of disturbing behavior. He had a troubled upbringing that involved domestic violence, which stoked his darker tendencies. Little did anyone suspect that this child would grow up to become one of the nation's most notorious serial killers. In the early 1980s, a grim pattern began to emerge in King County, Washington. Young women, many of them sex workers, started disappearing without a trace. Their bodies later surfaced in or near the Green River, leading to the unknown killer's infamous moniker, the Green River Killer. Ridgway was a truck painter by profession, a job that allowed him mobility. He often offered his victims a ride, only to strangle them later. The bodies were then dumped in forested areas near the Green River, becoming a chilling signature of Ridgway's atrocities. Despite the rising number of victims, the killer remained elusive. The Green River Task Force, a dedicated team of detectives, was formed to solve these mysterious murders. But even with their tireless efforts, the killer continued his gruesome spree. In 1987, Ridgway became a person of interest. He was questioned and even took a polygraph test, which he passed. Despite being under suspicion, Ridgway managed to evade capture for more than a decade. The breakthrough came in the late 90s with the advent of a new technique in criminal investigation: DNA profiling. The investigators had samples from the crime scenes, and they finally had the technology to analyze them. In 2001, the DNA evidence pointed to one person, Gary Ridgway. The man suspected years ago was indeed the Green River Killer. The criminal investigators finally had their most substantial lead yet. A search warrant led to multiple findings in Ridgway's home, including jewelry of the victims. It was the smoking gun they needed. In November 2001, Ridgway was arrested for the murders. The Green River Killer had finally been caught. Ridgway's trial was a sensational event. The nation watched as the man accused of being America's most prolific serial killer faced justice. But even in the face of overwhelming evidence, Ridgway pleaded not guilty. In 2003, Ridgway changed his plea to guilty. He confessed to murdering 48 women, a number far greater than previously suspected. He did this to avoid the death penalty. In a chilling confession, Ridgway stated that he targeted sex workers because they were easy to kill without attracting attention. Ridgway's confession was chilling. He displayed an eerie calmness as he recounted his crimes in grisly detail. His display of remorseless cruelty sent shivers down the spine of those who heard it. Gary Ridgway was sentenced to life in prison without parole. He is currently incarcerated in the Washington State Penitentiary. The reign of the Green River Killer had ended, but the scars inflicted by his crimes will never fade. Many questions remain about Ridgway's reign of terror. Are there more victims out there? How could he evade capture for so long? These questions haunt the investigators and the public to this day. Ridgway's story serves as a chilling reminder of the dark side of humanity. His actions have left an indelible mark on American crime history. It also underscores the importance of advancements in forensic science in bringing criminals to justice. It's a story that highlights the power of tenacious law enforcement. Despite the challenges, the investigators never gave up. Their hard work finally paid off, bringing an end to Ridgway's horrifying spree. Gary Ridgway's life is a stark contrast to the ideal of the American dream. It's a tale of a man who used his ordinary life as a mask to hide his monstrous deeds. It's a story of deception, cruelty, and ultimately, justice. In conclusion, Gary Ridgway's story is a grim chapter in American crime history. But it's also a testament to the relentless pursuit of justice. Even in the face of unimaginable evil, the law prevails. Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer Unmasked, a story of crime, investigation, and justice. A chilling tale that serves as a stark reminder of the monsters that can lurk beneath the surface of ordinary lives.